United States of America, even becoming president. I'm running next year. You say that you like coaching women in marriages and things of that nature. What led you to that point? Because like with me, my passion is women veterans, because I was homeless, and because I struggled, and because I suffered. Why are you so passionate about this topic?
Well, and my husband's sitting right there. I did not have a great marriage. For the first 15 years, it really was, I don't know if you're familiar with War of the Roses, that movie with Michael Douglas. That's how we were, just being brutally honest. And so it came to a point where in my marriage, I was so involved in doing things for so many people that I forgot about my husband. And I put my children before my husband. So the children had dinner, and I'd be like, yo, you need to go fix a tuna fish sandwich or something. I'd get a bowl of cereal, you know, and so our relationship just splintered. And it hit rock bottom, and I share this in my book, Shameless Love. Being a wife just got real, things I wish I knew before I said I do. I actually share in my book where I wanted to have an emotional affair for over a year. And my husband actually found out about it Thanksgiving. So we had a house full, my parents were there, my brothers, we had a whole house full of people. And he found out via social media that I was having this emotional relationship with someone in another state. And so I hit rock bottom there. And then I realized that I was so focused on helping other people and doing stuff for other people that I didn't give him the time. And so in that, our relationship was rocky. So this gentleman presented himself and was giving me all the accolades and the praise and all these things that I was desiring. And so from there, we had to decide, okay, what do we want to stay married? And if we do, what do we have to do? And so we got together, looked at our money. We said, well, we can't afford a divorce. We're too poor. So we got to make this work. And so, I mean, I'm just being honest. And so we just said, okay, what does this look like? I told him, I said, well, you have anger issues, you need counseling. So he said, well, you're not perfect, you need counseling too. And so we tried marriage counseling, we argued more. So we decided to do individual counseling. So when he would come home from his sessions, he would say, oh, the counselor told me this, that, and the third. And I was telling the same thing about my sessions. And then we were able to communicate. And then in that process, I was able to drop some things out of my life, say no to a lot of people, and then he and I started working together. And so in that, that's when, right around that time, my hair started falling out, so I have alopecia. And so my husband was the one that walked me through that process of being able to accept losing my hair, and then going forward. So I say all that to say, when I hear women hurting in their marriages, I tell them there is hope, but you have to decide to change first. And when I decided to change and decided to give my husband the attention and time that he needed, he started changing. And then once he started changing, our marriage changed. And we have our daughter just graduated her first course of Coast Guard. She's in the Coast Guard, just finished her first year. And so when she came home, she was just like, wow, you guys aren't arguing anymore. And so I was like, yo, our kids are watching us. And so we wound up praying about it. We're like, okay, God, please forgive us for having this terrible behavior for 15 years in front of our children. And since then, our marriage has changed. So that's what I do. I help women really take a personal account of their behaviors, whether it's, I used to tell my husband, well, I don't need you. I had money before I met you and all these are things that are wrong. It's just wrong. And so I teach women to rethink how they think of relationships, and how they think of men, how they view themselves, that you don't have to be every woman, because it's not possible, but you can be you. And once I learned to be me, then I became a better mother, a better friend, a better daughter, and definitely a better wife.
Wow. Wow. And now you see why I put the paper down. Because those questions on that paper would not have yielded that answer. You know, we want real talk up here. You know, we're trying to help people with our stories. And, you know, I didn't know your whole story, but I knew it was something there. And I really wanted the audience to see that you just didn't wake up one day and decide to coach women in their marriages. This is so real. You know, and I actually learned something today. You know, I do cook for everybody, But it's other little things that, I do in my marriage that's not right. And I actually started to realize that, like, he probably should have left you, Jim. You think he got issues, you got more issues than he does. But, I appreciate your raw honesty, but that's what we need. Because somebody in the back was standing up clapping. A lot of people in here are married. A lot of people have already gone through divorce. But I think it's just so crucial for folks like you to get the story out there to say, okay, he did the wrong thing for 15 years, and we still worked it out. We still worked it out. And he's still here, and he's proud of his wife. Because, hey, he's filming the whole thing. Give that man a round of applause. Absolutely. Because I think that we're becoming a society where it's okay to get divorced, but it's not okay to work it out. And that's backwards. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to stay in a marriage and get your head blown off. But in this particular situation, the things that you were saying, it probably stemmed from some of the things where you were going through with your mother, and because you couldn't control her, you control him.
Absolutely.
And I just thank God that you figured it out before it was too late, because he's a good man, because he got the camera, he's still going. So I appreciate your honesty, and I'm so glad that you are sitting on this panel. And she didn't say how she became to 10 minutes. She didn't say how she really got here. She reached out to me on Facebook, and she just wanted to attend the conference, and she wanted to blog. And then I reached out to her, and I said, you know what, I would like you to sit on the panel, because I knew you had a story. I just skimmed, but I knew you had a story. And one of the things I like to do for WVI members, I want us to get in the hot seat. I want WVI members to put their products out there. This is a network. We have some vendors in there who are WVI members, and all y'all go look for the vendors today. WVI members, we have gone everywhere, to the Tyler Perry Studios, the Tyler Perry shows. We've been to the White House. We've been to New York City. We get free tickets to trips. But when it comes to telling your story, that's not just important for us, but it's also important for you. Because I can see how you changed. When you first started off, you were just like, oh, like you want to be politically correct. And that's not why you're sitting up here. You're sitting up here to do exactly what you just did. Don't give us what you think we want to hear. Give us what you have inside your heart. And that's why when I have scripts, I screw up. So I said, okay, you know what? This is the Ginger Miller show. I'm going to put the paper down. They can't force me to get the paper. Can't do that. Because I want the people to get something. And Sandra, you're guilty of that too, because I know you got a great story. And just tell it. Whenever you get the opportunity, tell it. Because you have survived something that's so traumatic. And you're still together with your husband. So that's a lot, not only for you, but for him, because I know every man wants a son. Every mother wants a daughter. You guys look happy. But I know at the same time, it's still painful. So when you said that you wanted to cry, cry. Somebody told me I cry too much. And I'm like, you know what? Don't tell me that. Because if I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry. I did a speaking engagement at Express Scripts. And this is a multi-million-dollar Fortune 100 company. And the CEO did something one day. He had to go back and correct it. He said something to, some kids in the city like, oh, when I was going to school, they called this the poor kid's scholarship. And all of the kids were offended. Now, this man normally travels with an entourage. He went back to school that Monday morning by himself in St. Louis, in the hood.